Well, good morning again, and welcome to the Burgami Summit Breakfast Show. And from 8 a.m. to 9, Monday through Friday, we bring you topics of national interest and things that, without a doubt, you will understand why we say of national interest. This one is a good one. The national, you cannot say the national because it is a national. The Supreme Court last Friday dismissed a suit filed by 19 states challenging the constitutionality of laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. That is just part of the background. But before we go into that, let me tell you who my guests really are, because they're here to do justice to this subject. I have with me Engineer Ahmed Zachary Nguroje from Kenya, right?
No.
I knew I was going to mess with you there. You know, the Kenyans have a name very, very similar, Nguroje.
Okay.
That happens, well, yeah. These are not.
My area have a land that is very similar with that of Kenya.
Oh, okay.
We farm tea leaves, which is only farmed on the Mambila Plateau.
Okay.
The seedlings came from Kenya. So we have some.
So you're from Taraba?
Yes, I'm from Taraba.
Okay. Yeah. No, when I saw the name Ngoroje, I said, okay, he's in trouble this morning. The Kikuyus in particular bear that name a lot, Ngoroje.
Oh.
Yeah. You're National President, African Patriots for Peace and Center for Unity.
Yes.
Fantastic. And also, I was a constitutional debater. We'll come to that very shortly. Anti-corruption analyst. Also with us is Omole Bukum, and the initiator, Creative Change Center. What do you guys do? Sorry.
Yeah, what we do at Creative Change Center is to mobilize young people to use digital activism to change society, to make impact on good governance, political advocacy. That's what we do.
Fantastic. I was standing up front when you walked in. I had to tease you. I said, are you sure you're in the right place? I said, this is the first time I have a student walking in here on, Anyway, welcome to the program. It promises to be one that, our listeners have a habit of challenging you to your thoughts. So we will definitely give you the background. We will ask you questions as usual. But when it's halfway mark, we open the lines to our listeners. Our number is 0916-770-9564. Yes, 0916-770-9564. The topic, like I said, is imperatives of Supreme Court's ruling dismissing the suit against EFCC. A quick and complete background. The Supreme Court last Friday dismissed a suit filed by 19 states challenging the constitutionality of the laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. The 19 states involved are Kogi, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, Jigawa, Enugu, Oyo, Benue, Anambra, Plateau, Cross River, Ondo, Niger, Edo, Bauchi, Adamawa, Taraba, Ebonyi, and Imo. Although Ogun and Nasarawa states were listed as parties, there are cases which separately contested the NFIU guidelines and advisory were assigned distinct suit numbers and similarly dismissed. 6 of the 19 states, Anambra, Adamawa, Ebonyi, Kano, Jigawa, and Enugu, later withdrew from the case. However, Supreme Court records indicated that the judgment applied to all of the 19 plaintiffs. In a unanimous decision led by Justice Wani Abba Haji, the 7-member panel dismissed the suit for lacking merit. Delivering the lead judgment, Justice Abba Haji resolved the 6 issues raised by the plaintiffs against them. The court ruled that the laws establishing the EFCC and other anti-corruption agencies were validly enacted by the National Assembly within its legislative competence. That is when the legislature was still the legislature. These days, you think they will ever enact such a law? The court dismissed the plaintiff's argument that the EFCC acts as a product of the United Nations Convention on Corruption, required ratification by a majority of state houses of assembly under Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution. According to the ruling, the EFCC Act derived from a convention, not a treaty, and therefore does not require ratification by state assemblies. The court explained that conventions, unlike treaties, are agreements reached by multiple nations and are binding once adopted, allowing the National Assembly to enact laws derived from such conventions without additional ratification by the states. The Supreme Court also emphasized that the NFIU guidelines intended to provide benchmarks for managing state funds were lawful and did not contravene constitutional provisions. See, the states, they want to take their loot and disappear. That is really what it boils down to. How can you sue and talk about suing for what? Removing the EFCC from the face of the earth? These people are bold. They've stolen all our money, and at the same time they're suing the only.
Very unfortunate.
But what are the primary reasons these states in Nigeria are advocating for abolition of EFCC? Why don't we start with you, Molly?
Yeah, thank you very much. The primary reasons why the states are seeking the abolition of EFCC, I think that we must start from saying that the audacity of the state governors to make this move, this bold move,
it's laughable. Like, why don't we add it laughable?
That audacity is laughable, one, and that audacity is a sign of the new low that public affairs in Nigeria has gotten to.
Sure.
And the reason why I'm hammering on that audacity is because people don't just get audacity to do things that are low as that.
Mm-hmm.
They are emboldened by a certain systemic problem.
Correct.
And I think one of the things we must say is that it is anti-Nigeria. It is anti-everything we stand for as Nigerians. For anybody to say that an anti-corruption platform like EFCC should be removed from the public space, it is anti the interest of Nigerians. And I think we must state that first. But we must also state that while this Supreme Court verdict is very good, while it has technically ensured that we preserve that anti-corruption platform, the political argument must also be made that there is a systemic problem that has emboldened these governors to be able to do this. Yes, there is a clamor for regionalism in Nigeria, which is also very good. It enhances democracy. But there is the problem of the fact that EFCC, while EFCC has been effective in fighting corruption to some good extent, has also become partisan, unlike what it was when it began to exist. And it is that problem that has emboldened them to make this move.
Can you give us an example?
For example, during the Obasanjo regime, when the EFCC was formed, we saw a little bit of partisanship, but it was not so obvious. But since the Buhari regime, what we've seen is people who have corruption cases move into the ruling party, and then their corruption cases get dropped. So people automatically feel this level of entitlement. I'm in the ruling party now. EFCC should not be probing me. We have emboldened them. And I think that is something that has to be addressed. It's a systemic problem that has to be addressed. Or else, this corruption fighting back would relax and come back and fight again. And it speaks directly to the fourth person leading this case, Kogi State government.
Well, you see, when his name was the first, when Kogi was the first that was mentioned, I'm like, I say, damn, this man is not going to give up. We know he did nothing for Kogi. And I mean, I can say that with a lot of alacrity. Because we have an office over there, and I often wondered if Kogi ever had governors, period. That is one of the richest, supposedly, states in the country.
It was an ungoverned region for that period.
It's not just for that period. Go back. Just go back. You will see that all the governors that they had. Well, let me hold back. Because if I start on Kogi, I will never. This show will never finish. And you disagree. Yeah. Talk to me. What is your take on this? Why would the abolition of EFCC impact Nigeria's economy, especially when we're talking about war, corruption, and foreign investment?
Yeah, you know, when I first heard about this issue, in fact, it was laughable and it was very embarrassing. Embarrassing in the sense that one began to wonder a profession of the law, like the lawyers. If I am a lawyer and then a client comes to me with a case that I know the case is completely hopeless, if one should be patriotic enough, also going by the ethics of that profession, I think one as a lawyer should be in a position to do what is called guidance and counseling to the client.
Absolutely.
For you to understand that your case is hopeless. These governors engage lawyers in order to take this case to court. And these Nigerian lawyers accepted the case and made these governors understand that they have a case. That is the first embarrassment. If the lawyers at that point have told these governors that, look, you have a hopeless case, maybe I and you would have not known about this issue. Now, the issue of saying that EFCC should be scrapped, I think is an insult to Nigerians. Because EFCC as an anti-graft agency is not peculiar to Nigeria. We have anti-corruption agencies all over the world.
Absolutely.
Including the UK, Britain, a country that colonized us. And I don't see why Nigeria should be an exception. Now it's like a criminal going to court to say that the police should be scrapped away. Basically, it is for that criminal to have the convenience of continuing in criminality. Because we should be talking about how to empower the EFCC at this point. These governors should bring suggestions on how the EFCC officials should be people of integrity. They should come with suggestions to the federal government on how this EFCC should be empowered so that they can do their job effectively, and Nigerians should be satisfied that yes, the war against corruption is worthy of being fought. But for them to say they want to have a free because we know that majority of the customers of the EFCC are governors. You know? So it's very embarrassing. For me, I believe that EFCC have come to stay. And in my own opinion, we are not saying they are 100% effective.
You know, Brother Zachary, when I heard about this for the first time, I just thought it was a joke. You see, Omole made a very important point, and that is people now are emboldened because they see how much governors of the past who were accused have moved to a different platform of governance in the country. We know right now, if you say you don't live in Nigeria, we know those who are in the highest tier of government that have stolen the country blind. Yet, they come back, they're recycled, because they switch parties, just like Ibukun said.
Yes.
And now we have a situation where these people have the audacity to say the EFCC needs to be scrapped. I think they need to go to the mosque and the church, kneel before the altar, and ask for forgiveness for being this. Forgive me, I'm going to say it on air. It's stupid. You cannot imagine anybody in 2024 asking the EFCC to be scrapped when these guys are overwhelmed with theft. And the major leader from Kogi State.
a major leader, the general of the corrupt
practices.
You know, if you look at recently, if you look at the achievement that the EFCC have made recently,
yes,
from 2003 to 2023 to 2024, the recoveries that they've made,
yes,
EFCC have been able to recover money in cash,
yes,
to the tune of 248 billion naira.
I think that's even an understatement.
Just 1 year.
Oh, 1 year.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I said
correct.
2023
correct.
to 2024.
Correct.
And they have also been able to recover money in cash, hard currency, to the tune of $105 million. And then they have also been able to recover properties in asset, 250 billion naira.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've been able to get conviction, according to the chairman of EFCC. They've convicted 3,175 within 1 year.
Amazing, eh?
Now, I think as patriotic Nigerians, the question we should be asking is, what exactly is EFCC doing with the funds that are being recovered?
We'll come to that.
All right.
Hold it right there. Omole, do you think the EFCC has been effective in really combating corruption in Nigeria? Now, that's a straightforward question.
Well, that question is straightforward, yeah? But measuring effectiveness of EFCC comes with a level of sober reflection. And it is that we must not deny the fact that the structures of the states can be very efficient whenever it decides to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw the Halamisia event. The governor actually had to dress like a woman to escape Nigeria, and they caught him.
Yeah.
So the structures of the states can be effective when it decides to work. So the question is, what motivates that structure of the state to decide to work or to decide not to work? I think that has to be the question of measuring effectiveness. So genuinely, the EFCC is effective when it decides to work on to fight corruption. It's effective. But we must also understand the fact that the EFCC is not independent. It has never been independent. It has been majorly dependent on whoever is ruling at every point in time. Because the structure, the law itself, and that is why what we should be saying is not scrap EFCC. We should be saying empower them, deepen the law to ensure that they have more powers and they have more independence from whoever is ruling.
In fact, have an have an EFCC oversight of some sort.
Oversight by the people, yes.
By the people, yeah.
Yes. So I think that is what we should be doing. We should be deepening that law.
Yeah. Zachary, how well do you respond to many of the criticisms of EFCC as a tool of the political persecution?
Yeah, like my colleague here mentioned before, we witnessed a situation where EFCC have been used, in order.
Well, I mentioned EFCC. There's ICPC.
Yeah.
There is NFIU.
Exactly. But we concentrate on EFCC because we know more of them. Because the ICPC have not been hearing much about them.
Oh, well, recently,
it's like a duplication. EFCC, ICPC, they are all doing the same function. I don't know why they shouldn't merge them. When the president was merging some of these ministries, we expected that ICPC and EFCC would have been merged together so that we can have...
that we can talk about too.
Sorry, just an opinion on that. I think it goes back to the structural problem that we mentioned. And it says that, to a large extent, ICPC has been independent politically. And for that reason, it has not been empowered to be effective at all. And that's why you hear less of ICPC.
Mm-hmm.
Because the structure of the law itself makes it a bit more independent than EFCC. And for that reason, those ruling will ensure they don't focus resources on ICPC and focus on the resources on the one that is less independent that can use to be effective whenever they want it to be effective. And I think that is the reason why there is a duplication.
I was going to respond to that.
Yeah.
But thank you, cleared it up. So go ahead.
Yeah, the most important thing is for EFCC or any other anti-graft agency to be independent, completely independent, so that they can operate based on the law that establishes the agency without interference from anybody. So if the president is found guilty, as far as I am concerned, it should be dealt with according to the law, not even the governors. Because our law must have to work, you see. And one of the most important things that I think EFCC or any other anti-graft agency needs is for us to have an independent court, like the CCT, the Court of Conduct Tribunal, something like that for anti-corruption. Because a lot of times you find out that if the EFCC finds somebody guilty with all the evidences that you can think of, it takes a long period of time in the court, and sometimes these judges are even compromising.
If a part of one of the subjects that we've been dealing with, has been corruption in the judiciary. Mega corruption, not small one.
Yes.
Cases that are in black and white, and somebody is giving judgment. There are people who are in the legislature right now who never even bought a form.
Yes.
Yeah, they never bought a form to become whatever it is that they are in the legislature. Yet, we have a court system that is readily and easily manipulated as a result of what Omole was saying, depending on who is the ruling party.
Exactly, and who is involved.
Who's involved.
So, it's unfortunate. Our judiciary is one of the reasons why the anti-corruption agencies have not been able to effectively carry out their constitutional obligations. You know, because if somebody is found guilty of corruption, and then look at the case of Yahya Bello, for instance. Yahya Bello have suddenly become a needle in Nigeria, that you need a magnet to start searching for Yahya Bello, you know?
And when they get him, which I hope they do, I think that would begin the beginning of a celebration, because he is just the poster child of corruption in this country. I don't care what anybody says. You know, when a guy was in government for 8 years and people came begging him to be president of the country,
you can imagine.
And you don't even have a street that he had the decency to pave. And you ask yourself, who are these people begging this guy to be president of this country? Do they live in Nigeria? But anyway, we have very short time. I know 30 minutes is a short time to get you very heavily involved in this. Are there any international models or best practices Nigeria could adopt, do you think?
Yeah, you know, Nigeria have always participated in so many conferences around the world.
Please don't mention the American model, because Trump has poo-pooed it. Trump, I don't care what anybody says also. You know, Trump, you have a criminal who exploited the system. You know, and now became president again. Yeah. I mean, there's so many Nigerians cheering, say, whoa, you know.
That's why they say
I think the model we need might not just be for the anti-corruption sector alone.
Yes.
I think the model we need is for our democratic system itself. The
Correct.
presidential system that we run,
yes,
it is actually no separation of powers. So you can't talk about independence of agencies when there is actually no separation of powers. I mean, look at the executive through Wiki,
yes,
giving houses to judges.
Yes.
I mean, you expect those judges to also probably the same executive, including Wiki?
So that's the direct.
So there is actually no separation of powers in Nigeria. One of the best models, although it has its own limitations, all over the world, including the British, who colonized Nigeria, sadly, is a parliamentary system. Guarantees a bit more separation of powers than this presidential system that we're on. And I think we need to start discussing about that in Nigeria. Because presently, the presidential system means that the federal government decides everything, and whoever becomes the president, no matter how criminal you are, if you can become the president, you've escaped.
You scaled through.
So that might be the reason why Yahya Bello wanted to become president.
You know, in my own opinion, it is not about the system. Whatever system of government you bring into this country today, with the same caliber of people, with the same manners, with the same attitude that we have, the system will not work. If we want to bring a new system into this country, we must first of all allow the present system we are using to work before we can migrate to a different system. You know, whether it is parliamentary or the present system we are working with now, the bottom line is that Nigerians should be able to allow the system to work. Then we can now begin to think about moving forward. You know,
Nigerians are very smart, extremely smart.
Yes, the moment you introduce another system, before you know, they are ahead of you.
But what Omali is saying, if we can, I mean, if I can allude to what you said much earlier, is that for anything to work, the system that's in place has to have serious checks and balances. And what we see currently is a parliamentary system, from what you're saying, which is not beholden per se to the executive in the manner that this particular one really is. The truth of anything is that, you know, when you start searching from the beginning, how many of the people are elected, where in the primaries, the governor does not like who was elected for a legislative position, and he's immediately replaced by somebody that he likes.
Yes.
You have a situation where governors who perform so disastrously end up in the legislature. And it goes on and on and on and on. You need fresh minds, you know. Omole, if you were to run today, I will support you. Because I know the fact that these are young guys who are coming up and trying to make a difference. But do you think they will let him? No, they won't.
They won't.
If you scramble your way through to political parties, one Baba guy comes with bag sacks of money and buys our position.
You know, I contested for the House of Representatives in 2019.
Oh, God save your soul.
I had all my supporters from my constituency behind me. Massive. But somebody just came down to Abuja and then went and met Adams Shomole, and then he was given the ticket.
There was the bazaar.
There was no primary elections. I had the people with me.
Which state are you from?
From Taraba State.
Oh, Taraba.
You know, I contested Sardana Gashaka Kurmi Federal Constituency, and I was very sure of winning my election because
there's a popularity.
You know, the popularity was massive. You understand? I mean, but somebody came down to Abuja and he was given the ticket, and then there was no primary election. You know the crisis that took place in Adams Shomole. Now, what I'm saying is that we have three systems of government. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Now, this executive are supposed to be independent. The judiciary is supposed to be independent, and the legislature is supposed to be independent. And each checkmating the other, so that things will work very well. But you see that what is happening in Nigeria is that the executive have been able to separate, you know, the legislature and keep them under their control. So it is only what the executive wants that
but the challenge now that I'm seeing, there are some bold judges who are coming out to say, damn the consequences. I'm going to stick with the law.
That is what we want.
It has to be for this country to be able to move forward.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't continue like that.
That is why I'm saying any system we bring without getting this three system of separation of powers to work properly. You understand?
Yes.
Because it goes down. If the executive remain to do their constitutional responsibilities without interfering with what the legislature is doing, and the legislators do what they are supposed to do without tampering with the judiciary, the judiciary will also come down to even the smaller courts we have in Nigeria by doing what is right. But they are being tampered with. You know, you tempt the judges with monies that, in fact, there is nobody on earth that you will put that kind of money in front of him.
So that
it will not touch
their humanity comes to play.
You know, his integrity is already compromised because of that kind of money he's seeing. I think you get me. So this is exactly the problem we are facing. And it goes down to affect the anti-corruption agency we are talking about.
But exactly, I have to take a break here because we've gone past the half-hour mark before my listeners start screaming, say, hey, you're taking part of our time. You know, they're religiously following exactly what you say. Imperatives of Supreme Court's ruling dismissing the suit against EFCC led by Kogi State. Okay. Our first caller, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
Yes.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Who's calling and where you calling from?
My name is Alaji Sabala, calling from Maraba. Good morning to get to the studio.
Alaji, you're quite welcome.
Yeah, I traveled out for a few days. I just came back yesterday and I have to participate in my normal program. Good morning to get to the studio.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and you have crossed our limit. Apology, please.
Not a problem.
All right, we are talking about the 19 state governors who take EFCC to the court. Yeah. You see, if I want to comment on this, I think I will have a different view here. You see, once you have a division of labor in whatever you are doing, you are about to fail. You will not get it right. Now, the EFCC is working under which commission? The work the EFCC are doing is part of police work. The work the rest of them are doing in Nigeria are part of police work. Most of the biological entities we have are working under the police right. Now we have this EFCC for quite a long time now. Today, if you ask me, most of the senators we're having and the House of Reps we're having have case to answer. Are they answerable to the case? Is any of them in jail or arrested by the EFCC? No. The EFCC are supposed to be the people to take up this work on their own. So we have all the senators and governors who have been doing whatever they want and they are still existing, still holding position, still holding power, past presidents, while other countries are jailing their own presidents who perform wrongly to send a signal to those who are having the same character or mind. But our own past presidents and governors are living well, living in luxury, enjoying their life to integrity without anybody saying anything to them. And even some governors are proving stubborn to the EFCC, making it dramatic. The EFCC will come up and say this tomorrow. The governors will go and say this next tomorrow. So the EFCC should be scrapped. To me, it should be scrapped. And if the EFCC should be scrapped by the governor who wants it like that, the immunity of the government will also be cancelled. Let there not be FCC, there shouldn't be immunity. Let the police take up their case. So once any governor misbehaves immediately, he should be arrested. So you don't want FCC and we don't want immunity. These two things should merge together, and that is all. We don't need to talk too much about it. So if not, why are you against agency who is going against people that are wrong? Even as they are even there, they are not even doing the right thing. They are not even empowered enough. They are not even dependent enough to do what they are supposed to do because some people somewhere are controlling them. And that is why you finish your 8 years, you go to the Senate, you finish and you want to sit down. Nobody says anything for you because you are already powerful. You have the money. You have the judges in your hand. The judge cannot do overdo. Judge, they work based on the case you brought to them. They don't go out for investigation. It's not their work. That is the work of the FCC or the police. So what is brought on the table of the judge is what the judge will go after. And our judges remain our problem. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Issa. And we're treating the imperatives of Supreme Court's ruling, dismissing the suit against the EFCC and ICPC and NFIU. Okay. Hello?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, my brother. How are you?
I greet the guests in the studio. My name is Oga Gabriel. I'm calling from Guarimpa.
Oga, go ahead.
The judgment of the Supreme Court against the 19 state governors is that the prayers of the masses is at work. Because if they have had their way and get judgment from the Supreme Court, then their state would have been a problem. Because their intention is to govern and steal money and go freely, and nothing would have happened. Now,
So the first caller said the EFCC are not doing enough are not doing their work enough as compared to other countries. The fact is that, hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you.
The fact is that for them to be there at all and they are doing skeletal work is very important. If there is no EFCC at all, our police are already corrupt.
Yes.
The judges are corrupt.
Yes.
Last week, I think we were discussing about corruption in our judiciary.
Yes.
If police are not corrupt and the judges are not corrupt, things like this will not take EFCC a week before they prosecute any corrupt personality. You see, Ododo headed this thing because he wanted to do like Yabelo did, and he will not be touched. It's a painful thing that governors will get up and take EFCC to court that they should track EFCC because they want to steal money from their state. Instead of getting busy on how to govern their state effectively, they are going to court to scrap EFCC because they want to steal. They will not go to court to say, okay, remove immunity clause from our constitution. They will not go to court and say, okay, if a person steals, let him be hanged. Let him be hanged or prosecuted. They will not go to court and say, if any of my commissioners steal anything, let him be killed. They will not go to court and say, if a policeman is in court by receiving bribe, he should be killed. They will not go to court to do all this. They went to court to say EFCC should not come after them if they steal money. It's a very shameful thing. So that is why Ododo is shading Yabelo from being arrested by EFCC because of that immunity, one, and because if he allow Yabelo to be arrested, there will be exposure, and their secret will leak out on how Ododo come as the governor. That's why he's shading Yabelo. It's a very shameful thing. Like the first caller said, EFCC should not be described, but let us remove immunity clause. At least, if it is not up to the president, let any governor, even a sitting governor, if you are found of any corruption, you should be prosecuted. It is because of that immunity clause that they do everything and go freely. From governor, they will have their money and become senator. From senator, they will become minister. From minister, like that, and this country will continue like that. I'm telling you, if something that happens like what happened in Ghana doesn't happen in this country, our children will not see a better Nigeria tomorrow. Honestly, there should be total revolution in this country. If not, this thing will continue like that. Nobody will say anything. Inshallah, if you see some of these governors, most of the governors that went to court against the AFCC, they are all APC governors. And the president refused to say anything. He did not say them anything. Although I know the president will not be able to interfere in the judiciary, but then he's supposed to call these governors to order because they are giving him shame. They are giving the country a bad name. And if the country gets bad name, it is the president. So it's a very bad thing. The governor should call them to order. And, something is supposed to be done. Good morning.
Thank you, Oga Gabriel. It's a serious matter. The entire country is being impoverished because of some people who have the audacity to govern like they're emperors. And when they leave with the loots. Most of those loots are not in Nigeria, etc. Anyway. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Shola.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, my name is Zuagbe Ibrahim, and I call from Galadima district.
Yes.
The recent judgment, Supreme Court judgment, I think it's a very welcome development, a landmark judgment. To me, it is an indication that there is a ray of hope for Nigerians, and there is a ray of hope that the judiciary will one day come to be that last hope of the common man, as it is said. It is quite shameful for people who have been so exhausted to reduce themselves to nothing before Nigeria. Governors of states calling for the scrapping of EFCC as the draft agency. What else are we expecting? In other words, they want to reduce this country into a milk cow for themselves and only themselves. It is rather unfortunate that most of these governors, if you come to think of it, go and check how they were able to secure the mandate, the so-called mandate that brought them to power. It is only the Benue State governor that got to know how to suspend his Attorney General, whom the governor said that did not consult him before joining in that seat, although he has recalled back the Attorney General now. I don't know what our politicians are really thinking. Is it that this world will not come to an end one day? Is it that they don't remember that even if there is no accountability here, that the creator of this universe is watching? Oh my God. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you, Shola.
This is Izwagwe, right?
Yes, this is what
Where have you been?
very much.
I haven't heard from you for God knows how long.
Mr. Shola, I think we've been talking about issues of this country, and I tell you, it's like flogging a dead horse.
You're so right, though. You're right, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for the call. Yes.
Yeah.
0916-770-9564, 92.1 Vision FM. Good morning.
Hello, Shola.
Yes, sir.
This is Oga Gabriel calling back.
Oga,
what is paining me mostly is that we will continue to talk like this, and there is no change, nothing happens. People are still stealing money, going freely. There is corruption, going on in the country. The president is not doing anything now again, myself. Because the president before him, at least they tried fighting corruption in one way or the other. But this government is not even doing anything to take care of corruption at all. You see, we're discussing about corruption in the judiciary last week. And I want to believe that it is not only the judges. Lawyers are also part of our problem in this country. Lawyers. Because when there's a case like this, like they went to court to scrap USCC. It is lawyers that take the case of Dodo to court, and not Dodo himself. And the lawyer knew that the law that established EFCC is legal. It is not just Obasanjo alone that sat down and say, okay, there should be EFCC. It is people in the National Assembly sat down and say, yes, it is good for us to have an anti-graft agency like this. Before they establish, the lawyers know. And some of these governors too are lawyers. They know that it is not okay for them to go to court against what federal government established. Lawyers will just be carrying their bag because of the money they give them. It's very unfortunate. As lawyers, they are part of our problem in this country. It is not only the judge. Judge cannot just sit down and judge anything anyhow he likes. It is when a lawyer goes to the court and, because of money they are collecting. let me give you one experience, please. You see, it was the time that somebody was arrested because they said they stole from the place is working. And a lawyer went to police station to bail his client and a police corporal said, you must bring 700,000. You understand?
Yes.
Then they talk to 200,000. And a lawyer turned to the people of his client and said, Madam, this case is not a small case. The police say we must bring 200,000. It's not a small case and you are a lawyer. What made you a lawyer? Why don't you tell the police to go to take this man to court so that you pay him from there? But the lawyer would just turn to the people and say, Madam, this case is not a... I was so ashamed of myself.
Wow.
Wallahi, I was so disappointed. So lawyers are part of the corruption we are facing today. They are part of the suffering we are facing today. When the election that brought this man into governance happened, when Dino Mala and the co were trying to protest, they say if you are not satisfied, go to court. So because they know that court will not give them judgment, and it is lawyers that took the case to court. I don't know. They are part of our problem. It is lawyers that supported Ododo and yes, your case is good. You have a good case. They have a good case. You do not have a good case. Those lawyers that took that to be arrested and prosecuted because they don't know their work. Good morning once again.
Thank you, Oga. Now you're making me feel so bad. There are two things I always wanted to be in life. I wanted to be a soldier. And the other one was that I didn't have time to study enough to be a lawyer. I think I probably would have been one of those being thrown out of the courtroom every day because the judges will be so sick of me. Yes? Look, why are you a lawyer?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is where the National Judicial Council have a role to play. Like a doctor, if any Nigerian doctor is found guilty of compromising the ethics of
the profession.
Right. The doctor will be disciplined.
Yes.
And his license can even be seized.
Correct.
They stop him from practicing.
Yep.
Why can't the same be done with the lawyers and judges? What is the function of the National Judicial Council? For God's sake,
now, you want to say something?
Yeah.
I think nothing is actually going to function. If our society in Nigeria is rotting from the top, nothing is going to function. No agency, no council, no association is going to function the way it functions. Like I always say this, that the problem starts from the top, but the solution will start from the bottom.
Yes.
You might have heard recently, go to court has become a slogan.
Oh, yeah.
To represent our fait accompli in Nigeria.
Yes.
Go to court. Go to court. That's become a slogan. I could remember in the general election, one of the things that people said was that all of the people who had cases came out. Buhari, Tinubu, all of them came out to say that don't protest, go to court. Don't protest, go to court. And it is very important when they say that, because they don't just say go to court. They say don't protest. It is that the Nigerian ruling class already understands that they've captured every structure of the state. The only office that is left uncaptured is the office of the citizen. And so they try to make you relinquish your role in that office of holding them accountable. I mean, protest is a democratic right in every democratic country. But they tell you not to do it. Because they want you to because they've not been able to capture that office, which is the office of the citizen, and they want to capture that. But that is not even where I'm going actually. Where I'm going is the institutional problem. For example, last week the NBA said they were going to put policemen in every police station, human rights lawyers in every police station across the country. This is a good move. These are the solutions from the bottom that we should start looking at. The End Bad Governance protest might not have achieved anything to some people, because a lot of people say it did not achieve anything. But the truth is that it had shown Nigerians, after May 29, everybody felt that we have entered it. Let me say it in that way. But that showed the Nigerian middle class that the Nigerians can actually resist. If that's an achievement, then I'm good with that. That said, I also think that the problem of immunity for governors is also the problem of lack of separation of powers. Giving a governor immunity is telling them that they are above the judiciary. It is also a problem of lack of separation of powers. And then those arguing that EFCC is a duplication of different agencies and all that, all over the world, there are agencies that are specialized on a certain thing to address a certain problem which is endemic in that society. Right. So that is not an argument that duplication of ICP's role is broader than that of EFCC. But EFCC is specialized, focused on anti-corruption, which is good. And I think, lastly, that the solution to all of these issues is that Nigerians, we should not just talk and talk and talk. Nigerians should start demanding their role as citizens, their active role as citizens. We should start demanding the ability to use that role. We should demand oversight of all these agencies. When we see corruption, when we see the effects of corruption, we should be ready to protest it. And I think that is the solution.
For me, I say we should fortify the press. And there are certain organizations, institutions of the press that should be ready to go to the jail and even have the ability to challenge some of those judges in court. You know, there was a movie that I saw.
As it used to be.
As it used to be.
In the 80s.
Yes. Look, there was a movie I saw, I think a few years ago, where, judges in the United States were perplexed about just the revolving doors, the recidivism, where people are jailed, they come out in short time, they go commit more crimes and go back again. Do you know that these judges formed a committee? I'm not advocating anything yet, but they got to a point where they said, we've had enough of this. We've had enough of this. So by the time this well-known criminal, killer, serial killer, and everything, by the time he's released, he never makes it home. He's taken care of between the jailhouse where he was released and his house. It was a very popular movie. These were retired judges. They just had enough. You see? So we may go outside our comfort zone. We may go outside the box to find solutions to some of these problems. You see, because if you keep thinking things are going to change structurally, you waste your time. If you think that, institutionally, many of these agencies or many of these separation of powers, you waste your time. You see, the executive has, in fact, straddled across Nigeria, and they've literally beaten everybody to submission under them. So until, that's just my own submission. Sorry, gentlemen, I know we're completely out of time. It was not for me to preach. You just know you've had enough.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
I just want to call on Nigerians.
Yeah, sorry. You got the less than 30 seconds.
Okay, I want to call on Nigerians to understand that as far as the anti-graft agency is concerned, we have the Independent Commission Against Corruption in Hong Kong. It's called ICAC. We have Independent Independent Commission Against Corruption in Australia. It's also called ICAC. We have Independent Integrity Commission in Trinidad and Tobago. It's called ICT. We have...
Thank you. It looks like you have a list longer than the time will allow. Okay. Thank you so much. Comrade Zachary Ngu Roche is an anti-corruption analyst, an activist I think it's about time we all became activists.
Yes.
Omole Ibugu, I'm very proud of you. Whatever your youthful group is doing, yours is initiator creative change. Please, whatever you do, don't get corrupted. You guys need to fortify, your ambitions to ensure that if you do nothing else, we continue to cry out. The press will definitely take your part. We thank you so much. The producer of this particular episode has been Chinedu Echiano on the imperatives of Supreme Court's ruling dismissing suit against EFCC. And for those who call, Alhaji Isabella or God Gabriel Izwagwe Ibrahim, my friend, welcome back. May God bless everybody and keep you away from keep you away from these governors. Have a wonderful day. I'm Shalaje.